A set of headlights can completely change the vibe of your truck, and these Diode Dynamics Elite Max Series LED headlights with the black housing and clear lens are for the 2021 through 2023 F-150 owner that has the factory non-projector headlights and wants a huge change when it comes to the look and the performance of the front end of their truck. Now this set makes for a huge visual change for the front with a sharp DRL, a darker look, and a full LED design for a clean lighting look, but also clean performance if you're currently struggling to see at night and need the extra boost with a high LED output. This also has some additional features that makes the truck stand out with integrated custom options and even off-road style lighting that take this set of headlights up a notch compared to others like it. The lighting itself is one of the biggest features here with the stacked by LED, the customizable LED DRL, and the lower LED clusters, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now the driving lights make the most difference, outperforming the factory halogens and reflectors tenfold with the LED that is higher output, the projector lens that enhances the beam's uniformity, and the color temperature for a much more modern and crisp appearance to the front. Now the outer light bar is also notable with the L-shaped DRL around the border and the center strip that you can configure into a white or amber color temperature. Now the DRL is color selectable from the inside of the F-150 using existing controls, making this set very unique in needing no additional switches or controllers to customize your lighting. Now the DRL also illuminates amber for the turn signal and features a sequential function, but if sequential is not your vibe, you can customize that as well, changing it to a static blink function. Now there are also off-road auxiliary lights built into the headlight, featuring a triple SSC2 style pod down at the bottom of the light, which is used for off-road applications, assisting the headlights further on dark trails or in the woods where you need that extra boost. Now the Elite Max headlights also have a show mode where you can activate multiple strobe and gradual mode options if you want your truck to be noticed. These have a ton of features packed into the light, which make them such a premium choice. Now these have a high quality build made of a tough OE style plastic housing, which makes for a direct swap into the truck. Now the lens is made of a UV coated polycarbonate material, which is resistant to impacts and yellowing or oxidizing over time, keeping this sharp appearance, and the headlight itself is very well sealed with an IP67 dust and waterproof rating. And the LEDs are also much more efficient compared to halogens with a very long lifespan, even with a high output. And the back also houses aluminum heat sinks for efficient cooling, breather vents for proper ventilation with fluctuating conditions, and a complete plug-and-play setup so you won't have to question when it comes time to install these on your truck. Now, as I mentioned, these are a more premium choice in the category, coming in at about $2,200. Now the price point here is explained by the materials, the design, the lighting performance, and all of the functions that you're getting with this set compared to some more entry-level choices if you know you want the most out of a set of headlights when it comes to your truck. These also include additional features over the Elite models from Diode Dynamics, like the show mode, high beam boost, and the off-road pod lights, which makes this incredibly inclusive for a set of headlights. So again, if you're looking for premium when it comes to the lighting performance on the front of your F-150, then this is a solid option to look at. As I mentioned, install is completely plug and play. It's a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it really only should take about an hour or so to complete. Now at this point, I'm gonna hand it over to one of our installers. They're gonna show you a detailed breakdown on how you can bolt and wire these up to your F-150 at home. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, an extension, 7, 8, 10, and 11 millimeter sockets, and a clip removal tool. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing some headlights on our F-150, so let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start off by removing our upper radiator shroud, and that's held in by push clips going all around it. So we've got our clip removal tool, we'll pop those out and set that aside. Now we can remove our shroud. Next, if you do have anything up front attached to your grill like a camera, active louvers, and your wiper fluid, we'll need to unplug those. Unplug all this stuff. And for the wiper fluid, you just need to squeeze. Sometimes it's a little stubborn. Should come out. Hook that all back there. Next, we can remove the 4 10mm screws along the top of our grill. Now we only have 3. At home, you should definitely have all 4. We have our 10mm socket on our impact, and we'll get those out. Next, we'll need to remove our lower front trim panels. So we're going to come to the inside of our fender liner and our wheel well, remove the 2 7mm screws on the inside of each. We've got our 7mm socket on our ratchet. We'll get those out. After you have those 2 screws out, you can grab onto the inside of that, pop it out. We'll do the same thing on the other side, and we'll remove our trim. Now we'll pop this side out, support your trim, and remove it. Now we can remove the 2 8mm screws at the bottom of our grill. So we've got our 8mm socket on our impact, and we'll run those out. And once you've got this side out, you can do the same thing for the other side. Now we can pull up and out on our grill and remove it. So now to remove our headlight, we have 2 10mm screws up top, 1 10mm screw down bottom, and then a 10mm nut on the lower outside of our headlight. So we've got a 10mm socket and an extension on our impact. We'll get those all out and remove our headlight and unplug it. Now we'll remove this nut in the lower outside corner. Be careful not to drop it. Next, you'll want to remove that lower 10mm screw, which we no longer have due to many previous installs. Then we can pop our headlight out. Now once we have our headlight out of its bucket area, we're going to unplug all our connectors. Just push in on the tabs, pop those out. Now once you have this side out, you can repeat the same process for the other side. Alrighty guys, so what we're gonna have to do next is take our switch that we're gonna wire up, and we're gonna send that through the firewall into the cab so we can access a few more of our functions on our new headlights. Now, these aren't essential to the actual operation, but if you want all the functions of your headlights, you will need to activate and install this switch. So what we're gonna do is take our switch and we're gonna run it through a grommet on our firewall that's down by our brake booster and reservoir. It's kind of hard to see, but once you're looking straight down at it, you will be able to see it, and you just need to push that grommet aside and send that switch through. We're gonna push it through and get it into our cab. We'll get our switch over to our grommet, and you'll just need to pop this out. You can cut a slit in it, but it does come out of its seat pretty easily. You just wanna carefully feed your switch through. Once you have your switch through, I'm gonna go ahead and just feed a good bit of wire in while we're up here. Okay. Now that we have our switch through, we're gonna grab the other end of our harness with our positive and negative terminals and come over to the passenger side to our battery. Now that we're over to our battery, the first thing we're going to do is come to our positive wire, and we're going to remove the inline fuse that's going to keep the circuit dead until we have everything hooked up. So you want to pop that cover. We'll pull our fuse out. We'll set that up here for now. So we're going to hook our positive up first, so we'll pull back the cover on our positive terminal. We're going to come to our 11mm nut. Now these are open-ended, so you don't need to fully remove the nut. Just grab your 11mm socket and loosen it. Slide this in, tighten this down. And for our negative, I'm going to come over here and use our 10mm socket and do the same thing. So now we can take our connectors that go to our headlights and feed them through into our headlight areas. So there is a bit of room on each side behind your rad support and headlight area. Just feed those connectors down to where your headlights are going to sit. And once you have your passenger side in place, you can do the same thing for your driver's side. You can route this however you'd like, just make sure to keep it out of the way of any hot or moving parts because you don't want to damage your harness or your vehicle in the process. So now we can install our adapter harness to our vehicle. We're going to match up our factory connectors, and the side with the red safety tab is going to go to our new headlight. So we'll start with that connector we added. It's going to go like so. Plug this one in. You want to make sure these snap securely into place. Get our market light connector on. So now we'll plug our adapter connector into our new headlight. Now you may or may not need this side. It all depends on the factory configuration of your headlights. We do not need this one. So we'll tuck our harness back in and set our headlight in place. You want to make sure to line this bottom stud up and your upper locator. Now we can reinstall our factory hardware with our 10mm socket on our impact. We'll start with our 2 upper screws. We'll get that bottom nut back in, and then you should also reinstall that bottom 10mm screw, which we again no longer have. You want to try to center your light as much as possible. We'll get our extension. Now this is a flange nut, so it will sit in your socket. You can feed that in. Now once you have this side in, you can repeat the same process for the other side. All right, so now that we have both of our headlights hooked up, we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our fuse into our inline harness. Just get that in place. Sometimes they're a little stubborn going in. And you definitely want to close this cover back up. That's going to keep water out of your fuse area. Now once you have that hooked up, as far as securing the rest of your harness up and out of the way, feel free to do that however you'd like. You can use zip ties or whatever you have on hand. Make it your own. Again, just make sure to keep all of your wiring out of the way of any hot or moving parts. Now we can reinstall our grill. So we'll set this in place. You kind of want to go over and behind your bumper area. Make sure you line up your upper locators. Push that back into place. Now we can plug everything back in at our grill. So our washer fluid, active louvers, and our camera. Next we can reinstall our upper 10mm screws for our grill. We'll grab our 10mm socket. And once again, you should have 4. Now we can reinstall our shroud. So we're going to set this in. You'll have to lift up on your intake tube a little. Let that settle in place. And we'll reinstall all our push clips. Pop all these back into place. Once you got your first few in, you want to do the same thing for the rest of your clips. Next, we can reinstall our lower 8mm screws for our grill. So we've got our 8mm socket. And we can do the same thing for the other side. Now we can reinstall our front trim. So we'll line this up, gently get this into place. You can push your center section in, and then we'll get our edges back in place. So now we'll get the end pieces of our trim back into place. So you want to kind of pull back and out on that. Pop that back in, and we can reinstall our 7mm screws with our 7mm socket. Now once you've got this side in, you can do the same thing for the other side. So now we're going to get our switch in place. So you want to reach up right by your kick panel, and your switch and wire should be there. You can pull that right out. Now the way this switch mounts is, if you wanted to, you could drill a 7/8 hole through your lower dash panel and unplug this switch and push it through from the front, and these locks will latch it in place. For demonstration purposes, we're not going to drill a hole in our dash. You can also secure this however you'd like. And again, you can also wire this into an upfitter switch pod if you have one. So we're just going to set this here, and then you have your on-off function. Alrighty guys, so now we're going to show you how to program the different modes you can have with these headlights. It's all done through your headlight selector switch and your stalk. So we're going to start with our DRLs. Now there are 4 different functions you can cycle through for your DRLs, and in order to get through each function, it's very simple. What we're going to do is we have our key on, engine off on our vehicle. We have all of our lights off, including our off-road or show lights. Then you want to have your headlight selector switch to off. We're going to cycle that between our DRL parking lights and off 3 times quickly, and leave them on the DRL at the 3rd time. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then your headlight should blink. It works better either if you have a buddy or if you can park in front of a window or a mirror to see this. Now, to select a different mode, you're going to take your headlight stalk and you're going to flash your high beams to cycle through. So you can do it and then check which sequence you're in. Now, 1 flash is going to be everything is white, your outer DRL bar and your main DRL bar. 2 is going to be everything is amber, both DRL bars. 3 is going to be your outer DRL bar is white, your main DRL bar is going to be off completely. And 4, your outer DRL bar will be amber and your regular DRL bar will be off. Then once you have it selected, you want to wait till everything settles, and then you can turn your vehicle off and everything should be saved. So now the next function we can program in is our welcome sequence, whether you want that on or off. And again, we're going to come to our headlight selector switch. For this one, we're going to cycle through our parking lights 5 times fast and leave our parking lights on at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now your headlights will blink, and if you have it in mode 5, they're going to be off. If you have it in mode 6, you can cycle through and turn these on and off again with your headlight stalk. So your welcome sequence, if you have turned it on, it will cycle through. If it's off, just your running lights will illuminate. Once you've selected whether you want it on or off, you can turn your headlights back off. Alright, so the other 2 functions that you can turn on and off on these headlights is the high beam boost and the low beam boost. Now, it's going to be the same exact deal as all your other functions. For the high beam boost, you're going to cycle through your parking lights 6 times, and then you can simply turn that on or off with your stalk. For the low beam boost, you're going to cycle through 7 times and turn on and off. Now, if your high beams stay on after you've cycled through and selected which mode, turn your lights off. Do not try to turn your high beams off with the stalk. Just turn your lights off. They will shut off after 15 seconds and everything will be saved. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our Diode Dynamics Elite Max Series LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses for your 21 to 23 F-150 with factory non-projector headlights. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.